It's a beautiful, beautiful good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever it is that you are watching this live stream from. Twamutambula, Takulandilani, Lumwamwezi, wherever it is that you are watching this live stream from, you are through to the Aspirant on the Dumbo social media platforms. Now, allow me to mention that this is a show that I have deliberately created with my team to just ensure that as we go towards elections in the year 2026, we create a platform where we, the voters, can actually interact with some of the people aspiring for public office. As an influencer, I believe that I do not just have the influence to make people laugh and just joke, but also I have the role to play in information dissemination, especially where public matters are concerned. And so if you've noticed and if you followed me for a long period of time, I have from time to time created content that is about issues to do with governance and the affairs of this country. I know some people do not expect a comedian to do such kind of a thing, but people don't realize that aside being a comedian, I'm also a journalist. So when I talk about these political issues, I'm just playing my role as a journalist. This evening, I'm going to have a conversation with an independent aspiring member of parliament for Chawama constituency, who is already on your screens. His name is Mr. Elijah. All right, sincere apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. We seem to have had a challenge with some network interruption, but glad that we are back. All right, so we're just waiting for our guest to sign in so that we continue with our conversation. We had our network drop, but looks like we're back. I would love to get to know if you people are able to get me. Yeah, it would be nice to just get feedback if you're able to from wherever it is that you're watching from. Let me just get some feedback. Are you able to get me? Is the sound audible enough? We are about to have this conversation with one of for now as we wait for our guest to log in. Thank you so much, McDonald Piri. Good to know that you are watching. Happy Mwanga, you are watching. Thank you so much to Sole, Nyama Farms. So much good to know that you're locked on. Smart Boy Youth Advocate, thank you so much. Elder Wumba, thank you so much. Sincere apologies, Honorable, for that interruption. Before we had that network interruption, I was basically giving a background about why we are where we are in Chawama. So on the 5th of June, if I'm not mistaken, former Republican President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, dies in South Africa. And the family obviously is in South Africa to just ensure that, the funeral is well handled. But due to unforeseen circumstances, there is a fight, obviously, between the government and the family. For lack of a better term, there's a misunderstanding on whether or not he should be buried here and so on and so forth. So Honorable Tasila Lungu, who is former Chawama Member of Parliament, is given days, obviously. She's a representative of the people and she needs to be in Parliament. Unfortunately, those days elapse. She's still not yet in the country and is still in South Africa since the burial of the former Republican president has not yet happened. So she hasn't been in Parliament. And so the Speaker of the National Assembly, Madam Nelly Muti, declared her seat vacant due to the prolonged absence of the Member of Parliament for Chawama constituency, Madam Tasila Lungu. As such, another date is set for elections, which is 15th of January, in which various aspirants filed in their nomination. Among them is the man you're seeing on your screens right now, Mr. Elijah SIATWAMBO. Mr. SIATWAMBO, you're welcome to The Aspirant with me, Ken Dumbo. I do not take it for granted that you found time from your busy schedule to speak to the people of Chawama. I earlier on talked to you via phone. You were actually coming from Chawama, obviously, where you're doing your campaigns. First things first, how are the campaigns going?
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for having me. The campaigns are going on well, but it's quite busy because the time period which we were given, the moment that the seat, I think, was declared vacant, when the campaigns were officially opened, up to date, the time period was quite short, but we're doing what we can within the time period. But so far, so good. It's just evolving, but good.
I can only imagine. And we're going to dive more into what your campaign messages for the people of Chawama is, what you are doing and how it is like on the ground. But obviously, people need to get to know who Elijah SIATWAMBO is. People need to get to understand who Mr. Elijah SIATWAMBO is, and so on and so forth. So obviously, Mr. SIATWAMBO will be back on the screen and we shall continue with the conversation. Please, if you're watching from Chawama, I would appreciate if you share this to as many groups as possible in Chawama. And I would also appreciate if you have any questions for Mr. SIATWAMBO, you can actually drop them in the comment section and let's get to have this conversation. Later on, I'm also going to open the phone lines where you people can actually get to call me and ask the questions to Mr. SIATWAMBO. Okay, He is the man that we are having this conversation with right now. And it is important that we get to know him, we get to understand what his vision is for the people of Chawama. Just so you also know, we are streaming live on the Ken Dumbo Comedy Facebook page, the Ken Dumbo page, and we also are streaming live on our YouTube channel, which is also the Ken Dumbo Comedy page. Thank you so much, Honorable. We are grateful that we have you back. First things first, Honorable, people that are watching now, and obviously some people in Chawama, would love to know who Elijah SIATWAMBO is. And maybe also on a lighter note, we also want to know, is there any relationship between you and the author of Exams Made Easy, also founder of Twalumba lodges and a group of companies? Is there any relationship with Mr. Rosier SIATWAMBO? We can start from there.
First things, yes. Rosius is my elder brother. He's our firstborn in the family. Same mother, same father. I think you can even tell from the resemblance that we very much look alike. He's my elder brother. So Elijah SIATWAMBO is someone born and bred in Chawama, born from Mr. or Reverend Robert SIATWAMBO, the founder of Pentecostal Holiness Church in Chawama, actually in Kuku. Who is now retired, and my mother, who is deceased, Pastor Melita SIATWAMBO. So, like I said, born and bred in Chawama. I grew up first, I think, around Yamalezi area in Chawama. Then we moved to Komboka, where we have been staying with the family. A bit about Elijah SIATWAMBO. I used to play football as well. I used to play football for a team called Toyas Nainte somewhere in Kuku. So those who are familiar with football, who are familiar with Lewis Grounds, I think I'm a very, very much familiar name there because I used to play a lot of football. Started my school somewhere in grade 1 around Kamlanga primary school, moved on to Kamala South Basic School when they newly opened that school. I think in Kamala South, I was one of the first pupils there. Kamala Secondary for secondary school, until what I do today here. I'm a legal practitioner. I'm a lawyer, as well as just a businessman. So in a nutshell, that's basically who Elijah SIATWAMBO is, born and bred in Chawama.
Very interesting background there, Mr. SIATWAMBO. You look very youthful, and it's very unlikely in our politics in Zambia to find young people of your caliber, especially one that has a legal background. Obviously, people would opt to just concentrate on their business and maybe just pursue their legal career. Why get into politics?
Right. For a very long time, I've always had a passion, I think, for issues of governance, politics as well. Just to bring you up to speed, somewhere in 2010, I founded an organization called Youth Democratic Focus. So the whole idea of this organization, Youth Democratic Focus, was centered around youth participation in politics and governance. So we were doing different programs around youth, trying to push youths, to get involved in issues of politics and governance. And I remember immediately, I think after PF had won the elections in 2011, I think one of the promises the late President, His Excellency Mr. Chilufya Sata, had said was that the new constitutional issue. So what I had done, I think, with my organization around that project, I had actually established what are known as constitutional clubs within over 20 high schools within Lusaka. So we had actually our launch somewhere in Munali. So what we were trying to do, help youths understand issues around the constitution, help youths around issues of politics, issues of governance. And then also we had embarked on a project at that particular time, which was called Tomorrow's Vote. So the whole idea of Tomorrow's Vote as a project, we were looking at youths between 13 and 17. We were trying to prepare the youths for the next 5 years when they will be 18 and eligible to vote. So from that particular background, issues of politics and governance is something that actually I've been involved with for a very long time. It's not just now that I have just woken up that I've just developed passion and say, let me not go into politics. It has been something that has been upon my heart, and it's a route that I've always wanted to take.
Oh, interesting. Now, talking about politics and also the issues of the constitution, after the seat for Chawama was declared vacant due to the prolonged absence of the area member of parliament, a number of people had different opinions, of course, because one, we are just about 5 months before we can go for an election. And some people felt it is not necessary for us to even have this by-election. But as things may be, procedure has to be followed. Now, this is very unusual. It's very unusual. It has never happened before. This vacancy has been declared because not because someone has resigned or someone has died, but simply because they can't continue working for the people that they represent when their father has not yet been buried. How, as a lawyer, I know that you are participating in the election, but also, how do you just look at this situation?
There are two aspects of it, Ken. There is what we call the human side of things, meaning we as human beings, we look at it from the emotional side of things. We try to understand, we sympathize with people. That is one thing, right? And then there's the legal side of things, right? So in law, we say that the law has got no feelings, the law has got no emotions. The law is law. Whether you're on the right side of the law, you're on the wrong side of the law remains as what it is. It does not deal with feelings, it does not deal with emotions, it deals with what is written. But of course, from a human perspective, as human beings, we need to sympathize with people. When I think things of that nature happen, from a human perspective, one must be able to say, no, I think let's be understanding. But when there's the law, that's where the issue comes in. So sometimes it's also a challenge to be able to marry between law and issues of morality. So you find that sometimes in law, we say sometimes the law does not deal with moral or emotional issues. The law is what it is. Once it is written, the law has to be followed. So that is where we found ourselves in. Of course, from a human perspective, everybody would be sympathetic and would be understanding to say, no, things should have not happened that way. But the law is blue and black, and the law is the law, no emotions at all.
And fortunate or unfortunately, elections have to go on, and you are among the 9 candidates that filed in to participate in this by-election. One would think, obviously, elections are very expensive to run, especially campaigns. But you decided to run for this by-election as an independent. Why?
First things I must say, I had an opportunity, if I wanted, to run on any political ticket. That I must put on the record. I had that opportunity to run on any political ticket. But the issue for me was I just wanted to run as independent. And mainly because I wanted to have my loyalty to the people. My reason, or the reason for me to join politics and for me to stand, is because having grown up in Chawama, I understand the challenges that we have gone through in Chawama for a very long time. And in addition to that, I also understand the day-to-day challenges that people are going through. You see, there's a time when politics has to play its role, and there's a time also leadership has to come into play. At this time, people need leaders. They don't need politicians. They need leaders because they need people with a plan. They need people with a vision. They need people with direction, people who are going to solve problems. Because a lot of people, from youths to women to men in Chawama, they're going through a lot of challenges. So if I was concerned about politics and my concern was obviously just to get to parliament, I would have gotten the easy way out, jump on any political party ticket, and then they will do whatever I wanted to do. But I wanted to keep my message pure. I wanted to keep my vision intact, and I wanted to keep my loyalty to the people, because the people of Chawama are the ones who are going to send me to parliament. And if I go to parliament, I don't want to speak what the people have not told me to speak. I want to go there and represent the people fearlessly, because what this country needs are fearless leaders who are objective, who are principled, who have got integrity, and who know exactly what people are going through and feel the same pain that people are feeling on the ground. The more reason I'm going independent, and also to share, the opportunities equally, to ensure that if, for example, CDF is available, you distribute to the people equally without looking at which political party that you're coming from. Because at the end of it all, the challenges that people are going through are all the same, and everybody is looking for development.
Interesting. For those of you that have just joined us, this is The Aspirant. It's a segment or a show that is meant to create a platform for me as Ken Dumbo to also just have engaging conversations with various stakeholders, but most importantly, those aspiring for public office. So this platform gives an opportunity for us to have conversations with such kind of people, and one of them is Mr. Elijah SIATWAMBO, an independent aspiring member of parliament for the Chawama by-election. And so at some point, if you are in Chawama or elsewhere and you would love to ask a question to Mr. SIATWAMBO, the number will be beamed on the screen later on, and you are free to actually call and ask him a question. And if you can't call, you can still leave your comments in the comment section so that you ask whatever questions that you have for this man, because after all, when he wins, he will not just be representing me, he will be specifically representing you, the people of Chawama. So it is very important that you put him to task and just tell him what is expected of him. Mr. SIATWAMBO, coming into the election year, a number of people that comment on issues to do with politics, among them Laura Miti, have expressed concern in the way politicians give their messages to the people. They end up doing things or promising things that are not within their role or mandate. And we have seen, I've followed the campaigns in Chawama. We have seen people cooking shima for people. We have seen people washing for people as a way of campaigning. I want to have an understanding from you as an aspiring member of parliament. What do you think the roles of an MP are? And even as you communicate with the people, what should you tell the people?
All right. No, that's a very good question, Ken, because I've been following through as well, and I've seen a lot of comedy. And it's quite interesting to see how some of the people are doing their campaigns. So the role of a member of parliament is very simple. First of all, a member of parliament represents people of a particular constituency. A member of parliament is the voice of the people in parliament and speaking on behalf of the people from the constituency in which he or she has been elected. That's the first role. The second role of a member of parliament is to attend to parliament meetings and then also help parliament when I think they are making laws and sittings are taking place. Those are the two major roles of a member of parliament. So when I go down in the ground, or when I go on the ground to go and campaign, I don't play comedy, because at the end of it all, what people need is a leader. When I go to the ground, when I go on the ground to talk to people, I don't speak things that are outside the scope, right, of what the roles and the duties of members of parliament are. Now, you need to understand something again, Ken. We are living in a society where we are dealing with a constituency. For example, I'll be very specific to Chawama. We are dealing with a constituency where there is poverty. That is number one, right? We are dealing with a constituency where, again, there is a high level of illiteracy. So when you go on the ground, one of the challenges you will face is that when you are dealing with people, you share your message. The moment people see me, a lot of people, you are trying to share your campaign message to the people. Immediately somebody will ask you, Jombo ya lila, nifuna ni jemo. The next thing other people, I say, stinga vote, and they say multi-person drama, So the moment you try to share your vision, other people will not understand. But that is where now a true leader shows who he is. Because at that particular point, what do? When people are requesting for money, for me, it's very simple. When a person comes to me and simply says, honorable person in drama, I'm very clear. I say, look, I am here to campaign, and I am not even authorized by ECZ to be able to give you money because this is electoral malpractice. The moment a person says to me to say, since I voted, and my answer is very simple. I said, okay, look, whether you vote or not, remember, you've got children in Chawama. Okay? Whether you vote or not, a member of parliament will come of your choice or somebody who is not of your choice. The country will not stop just because me as an MP, I have not done what you wanted me to do, which is outside my scope. So you have realized that when I have spoken to people in that manner, people have understood. It's not an issue. So there's no need for me to even play public stunts, to start doing some stunts and all those things to try to get votes from people. So when you see people who are campaigning doing that, you should know one thing for a fact. That is a joker. That is somebody who does not even understand what the role of a member of parliament is. Now, aside from what we have spoken, representing the people, making the laws in parliament, a member of parliament also plays a key role. And that is being able to bring different stakeholders on board. There are certain challenges you find that a community may have. They may be outside the scope of the duties of a member of parliament. But remember, if you have got an opportunity to bring a certain investors, if you have got an opportunity to bring maybe a particular organization, an NGO, to come and provide a service in your constituency, as a member of parliament, you are the right people to engage those different organizations, engage different stakeholders, because your job, aside from being in parliament, your role is to lobby for the people. You begin to lobby, identify organizations who are able to provide services which your people need. And then when you engage those organizations, lobby on behalf of the people. Once you lobby on behalf of the people, they are the ones who are going to be able to benefit. So poverty has contributed. I can tell you for a fact, poverty has contributed, and also high levels of illiteracy. That is why today people are not interested to hear the vision. Another person, for a fact, will just watch this, vote for another person because and it's so funny. These things happen. But you see, these are issues. When we go down on the ground, I tell people, I said, even me, before you vote for me, you need to hear what is my message. Because at the end of it all, elections will come to an end. There'll be now leadership that I need to provide. I need now to represent you. Now, if you were not able to hear what I was saying at that particular time, you'll be shocked that I'll not be able to do anything after your vote will be into office. Why? Because there's nothing I was saying. All I was doing, I was just playing to the gallery. I tell the people, please, you have got the right to punch holes into my vision. You have got the right to punch holes into my manifesto. Ask questions, I'll be able to answer. Because it is that same manifesto tomorrow which you will use to provide checks and balances. But again, problem is poverty and illiteracy. So we still have to find a way where we manage this whilst we are doing our campaigns.
I love the fact that you have clearly stated that the problem is poverty and illiteracy. And I have seen this even in Chawama itself. I've seen people now, because it's campaign time, those that have the capacity, they'll come with money. I was seeing other politicians today who are going around the streets of Chawama. Wherever they see, they call them to a vehicle and they give them money. And I've seen that even in other constituencies where maybe by-elections have been held. Don't you think, as candidates, you have the right to report that to ECZ as electoral malpractice? And if you do, why haven't you done so? And do you think in any way these are issues that our commission really takes seriously?
I can tell you for a fact, we as candidates were called to a stakeholders meeting about a week ago. And we raised that issue. And we said, look, this is electoral malpractice. There's no way people can be distributing meal. And in the night, we've got videos, right? There's no way people can be distributing meal, and then from there in exchange for a vote. That is clear, electoral malpractice. But sometimes in a society that we live in, you also understand that not all animals are equal. And that's for a fact. So you find that there are certain issues, you may report them, but of course others may be able to cast a blind eye. But what I can tell you for a fact is that such a candidate who is distributing minimi is something that is already known that is not popular on the ground. So now those are desperate acts. So whether they do what they want to do, that I can tell you for a fact, that gentleman is not winning. Not because I am a person who is also interested, but because also on the other aspect, people have opened their eyes. People also understand that, you see, I'll eat a bag of miri meal for 5 days. After 5 days, what is going to happen? So there are other people now who know ngati baleta maunga tengani vapasa ndalama diani tengani was using it, but they all vote abantu baziwa vochita. So also we have also been spreading that message to say tikachoka ku campaign and I say kuli bantu benango bazabwera bafite campaign, but whoever was the later message whoever was the later vakudya. But what you need to know is that vita vakudya 3-4 days vizasira mairosi mzafuna kudya so vityeni, but always know where to vote. And people have opened their eyes. We've brought that issue to the attention of the relevant stakeholders. Whether they have taken action on it or not, we leave it up to them. But also we've continued to spread the message to say those people doing that, they are just trying to buy your votes. They've got no message, they've got no vision. Those are the same people, after they win elections, you will never see them again. And so far, so good. People's eyes are open.
Interesting. We have some great contributions and comments coming for you from Rebecca Makwele Mlenga, who says, great point. We also have some people, okay, Rebecca Makwele Mlenga says, find time to bring Wawasha Navamanzi. Mukaribadam, we want to hear data. All right, thank you so much for that. We also have some comments from Mwinji Kawiro, who is watching us via YouTube, and she's saying, Honorable, you are making sense. Susan Shupiwe is watching from Mrs. Compound, and we have Shaiman Shaizo, who is watching us in the United States, and a number of people that are watching us. You have highlighted some of the challenges that the people of Chawama are facing, which is obviously illiteracy and poverty. But I also know that there are a number of challenges that you as area member of parliament must be aware the people are going through. Are you aware of any challenges aside from poverty and illiteracy levels that the people of Chawama are going through?
So many of the challenges. I'll just highlight a few. Issues of drainages, rainy season. Oh my God, there are so many places. I wish I could show some photos. Some of the places we were in today, there's no way you can be able to pass. Drainages are a huge problem, right? Second problem, you have got an issue of garbage, or there's so much garbage everywhere. And again, this is the rainy season, big problem. So you find that people now can easily get sick because you have got water, you've got garbage everywhere, and then, you know, people are so much exposed. Of course, you have got an issue of the challenges, of course, of lack of recreation centers and lack of recreation facilities. You'll be shocked that I was in Chilanga yesterday, Freedom. I was campaigning yesterday, and it was so surprising that what used to be a football ground in Chilanga, vantu wanapasa na maploti wanamanga na manyumba. So kulipe manje na pocha ila bola manje vantu pali manyumba wana governor no governor na manyumba yanasi. That football ground is gone. And today we are still also complaining with the issues of junkies, lack of recreation facilities, and also, most importantly, we don't have a school, you know, for children with disabilities. I am passionate about disabilities and, of course, people with special needs and education. And also, we don't have a school, for example, in a place like Nkoloma Wadwad, which comprises of Misisi and Kuku. And you know, Misisi and Kuku, there's so much that is being talked about Misisi, but up to date, Misisi does not also have a proper school. So those are some of the key challenges. Of course, we still have to deal with the issues of the roads in Chawama. So Chawama has got quite a lot of challenges. No skill center, recreation facilities, sports facilities, ground yenango yo bachaira mo bola lero abakasizo chaira mo bola mairo ground in my market. So we have got all these challenges, issues of brothels, lack of proper securities, and so on and so forth.
I'm glad that you have highlighted some of those challenges, and they are of interest to me because I think less than a month ago I was passing through Ija Road between is it Mrs. and Kamala South?
Yes.
Kuja kuli Vishala, kuli Vinyalala.
Vishala, Estalungu Road. That's Estalungu
Yes,
Road.
the Estalungu Road. And I saw the kind of garbage that is there. And this is the garbage that a lot of people have been complaining about. Now, I'll be very honest with you, Mr. SIATWAMBO. I have received calls, personally, I've received calls from some members of Chawama who have said, it is not that timafuna kutayirapo doti paja. What happens is that we have been paying to the companies that are supposed to come and collect this garbage. The council is aware about these issues, but despite us paying muzapeza kuti mamotoka aya siyaborotenga magarbage naise sitingapitirize kuvisunga ivi vinyalala. We have no option but to get rid of them, and the nearest place we can throw them to is that particular place. When elected as area member of parliament, specifically on the issue of garbage, especially along Estalungu Road, and also the complaint that people are having that despite paying or subscribing to these companies that are supposed to collect these garbages, they still don't come. How do you intend to address that issue?
Two ways. First things first. Before we come to the issues of collecting the garbage, going to throw the garbage or find a dump site where the garbage could be taken to, the first thing we need to get to address is a mindset problem. It's a mindset problem. You need to understand that we have to tell people that this environment that we live in is ours. So the moment we throw garbage anywhere and anyhow, we are not punishing the government. We are not punishing anyone. The people who are likely to get sick, it's us, the people who live in the area. So we have to organize sensitization and education programs around garbage collection. Because you see what happens sometimes, muntu ni usiku. Azaenda chabe usiku aona chabe palipe bantu aindota vishala pa road. Tomorrow my roxeni bantu wao bapeza doti pa vishala. That's a mindset problem. So what you keep seeing is that every day, that's why problem ya vishala is one and the same problem. Vishala bazabwela banyamule, after 2-3 weeks vishala futi mwa vipeza. So there are issues here. First of all, it's a mindset problem. Let's engage people, organize programs, education, sensitize the people to say, we are far much better living in a healthy and clean environment. It's for our own good. The people have to think in that way. Remember, if you remember way back, kunakwera kwa Keep Zambia campaign clean, kwenzeko ma campaign kumbuyo, kulipe kutaya vishala mu mabasi. Sooner or later, after some time, mabasi zienziana mboenda na tumabini. Muntu ali mbasi sazataya pa window. Azataya mbini, conductor zainda taya. Why? Because there was an agenda to say, no, look, this is an issue of a mindset. So first, if we have to deal with garbage collection, kenti amdonkala na bantu. Ma community meeting, they are very important. Bantu tiwauze kuti doti niyo ipa, doti leta matenda. Number two, there are laws in place. There are laws in place. You need to understand that kutaya vishala, it's a nuisance, it's an offense. So through those educational programs, we start again telling the people to say, that's a public nuisance. You can even be prosecuted for that. So we bring in again my local authorities, where we begin to sensitize the people. Because remember, we live in a society where there are laws. We don't just live in a society where a person can wake up and go time and be anyhow. We bring in the laws. We tell the people, these are the consequences. There's a fine, or you can maybe be sentenced for such a nuisance because it's an offense. Then from there now, we come to the process in which these companies are engaged. What capacity? How was this particular company awarded a contract to be able to collect the garbage? Does this particular company have even the capacity? You realize that some of these companies which are given contracts to collect garbage, they do not even have the capacity. They have to go and hire maybe matraki, matraki. So that whole entire process also has to be reviewed. So that contract yo pasa vishala, yo doba vishala, ya pasiwa kuli company that has got the capacity to do so. So there's no way a company that has got a contract is failing to go and pay and collect garbage. In law, we call that as breach of contract. That is failure by that particular company to abide by the terms of the agreement. So what do you do with those companies? You terminate their contracts. Engage other companies so that they can be able to collect garbage. Because we are in a rainy season now, and Nima problems are to collect.
Interesting. In case you have just joined us or you've been watching and you'd love to call and give a word of encouragement or ask a question to Mr. SIATWAMBO, you are free to call. The number is showing right on your screens. So that is the number you'll be calling. And once you call, you just let us know who you are and where you are calling from. And you can proceed to telling us what you have for Mr. SIATWAMBO. So the number is showing on your screen and you are free to call and give your contribution. We already have a caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ken. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. We're going to Simon in Palasha. Actually, I'm from Mkushi, but I'm following the program.
Simon in Palasha. Honorable, are you able to get Mr. Palasha?
Yes, I can. I can hear him. Good evening, Mr. Palasha.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
You may proceed with your contribution or question.
Yeah, I've been in Lusaka. I stayed in Lusaka almost 3 years to 4 years somewhere. Actually, in Chawama area, which is the CC area.
Yes.
So I want to find out from the honorable because the main issue concerning to miss this is a drainage issue where we throughout that rain season, moving around is very difficult. So now I want to find out from you as the honorable, what plans do you have for the Mississippi area? Because that place, being honest with you, because I remember that she tried the level best to build my energy, but it seemed like so now you being the aspirant that you want to be MP in Chawama, what's the plans you have?
Drainages. All right.
Then other thing, the last question, we have issue of junkies. These summer junkies are there's some reason that for example, somewhere there, which platform that you have for those guys that they are junkies as MP? I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simon Impalasha. We are grateful for your call and contribution. All right. I hope you have taken note of those two questions, Honorable. The first one is of drainages, and the second one is the issue of junkies, which is also amongst the questions that I had actually kept for you, but I'm glad that it is coming from the people that are living in your constituency. If there is someone that also would love to call and maybe ask a question so that Mr. SIATWAMBO gets these questions at the same time, you are free to call in. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Lwiketire kusaziba bona.
Lwiketire.
Lwambola ni bomanyi?
Mwambola ni Mutakela kapana Makando.
Mutakela na Makando.
Encha.
Lwinzi ni bo honorable SIATWAMBO.
Honorable SIATWAMBO
Muchwani, I can speak barely a bit of loss in Muchwani and we get it.
Okay, nitume alo program mwizi niyo na samoya yalwa itavela kuyaka mubambolezi honorable. Hakuna foba pumili. Mama njima ikutwa kenko na kuvulela. One thing that I have seen, the government first of all, they are not serious. Especially in the Department of Council. They are just busy to correct taxes instead of maintaining the environment. When you go to intercity that side, the people are suffering. but they are busy collecting taxes each and every day. So what they need to do, they need to go to the environment first to sensitize people, to say, if we are going to find you throwing litters anyhow, you'll be given a penalty. So you see that people will maintain the environment clean. When you go some areas like in Kanyama, areas like in Chawama, you can't even walk in some areas because of the way the area is. So people are not serious. You can even do whatever you want to the environment. Some people, they are failing even to maintain the environment. They are failing even to clean their areas because we don't have serious laws.
All right.
When you go to buses, like my big buses are, in my big buses, they can't allow you to throw even a container for drinks.
You have 30 seconds remaining, Mr. Namakando, to wrap up.
Yes. So what Mr. Honorable is talking about is really true.
All right.
Just to keep on sensitizing people, we need such kind of leaders in our areas. Maybe our areas will be better. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mtakela. Honorable, let's go straight to obviously the concerns that Mr. Namakando has raised, and also Mr. Simon raised, the issues of drainage and junkies. How do you intend to tackle those?
Drainages. First things first, I'll go straight to drainages. The issues of drainages, if a person comes today, Ken, and says, Nizapanga drainage mchawama, I think Ivambiri Nishanama. And I'll tell you why. The problem that is there, first of all, is that we have unplanned settlements. That's the biggest problem. So these unplanned settlements are what now created a bigger problem. Because nyumba pawazapanga, uyapapanga, pamene pezo fuliko panga road, muntu apangapo nyumba. Then from there, mvula ikaloka, manzi yasoba koenda. So partly the problem that is there is that we have got so much unplanned settlements in the area. Now, this problem is a problem that goes back straight to our local authorities. Because remember, we have the planning department of the Lusaka City Council. So we have to review how were some of these, settlements, how was the allocation being done? So now, if we have to resolve the issues of drainages in Chawama, it cannot be resolved without the local authority being brought on the table, okay? Because we need engineers to be brought on the table. We need local authorities also to come on board. Then from there, what you get to do a comprehensive study of the area. Let engineers give a comprehensive study of the area where a drainage can be built, or where water can be constructed again, and where water can come and where water can go. If a person today mairo indokumba bifolo, kuti akamba no nipanga ma drainage mchawama, iyo ni boza. Because remember, problem yama drainage na kamba kutala, it's an issue of, we have got firstly, these settlements, they are unplanned. Ngenani mwamisi sumuzao na manyumba mwamini yali. Sometimes uzapita, upita ni padopa wantu. Mvula ikaloka manzi yankala pamene pacha. So all those issues, we need to bring the local authorities on the ground. We bring engineers on the ground. Ngati ninkani wamba kukumba, tizakumbira pati. Manzi yazainda kuti, yazainda kungwenya damu, always yazainda kubro water damu. If you go kumba before, if you mutu kumba before, I'll tell you what happens. Vantu, bazataira mu vishara. Vakasizota vishara, mvula ikaroka, yatamanzi yalibe koenda. Izi mifolo zamene vana kumba, vambiri vantu, zilipe outlet. Manzi sabe yangena, manzi siyainda kublo water siyafika. But muntu azakamba kuti no napanga ma drainage mchawama. There are no drainages. So if we have to solve this problem, we have to be serious. It's a clear plan. You need to have a clear plan. Engage the local authorities. So what I plan to do, engage the council. Let's go on the ground. Let's do a comprehensive study of Misisi. Tipitemo ma Misisi kuserenje kuja kuzaiko ten tipitemo bwino. Tigene mwa kuku. tikachoka mwakuku na mweve tentipite manzi yankalira pati ngati ni mifolo zakumbira kuti mapipe yaende kuti what is the cost if that has to be done, so that what you have a clear cut plan, you sort out that problem once and for all. Ngati kuli manyumba yenango yafuniko fendeziwa, is that possible? Is that going to be done or not? Those are some of the issues. Kuli penango ngati nkufanga fakachape tumalodi ngati konze nishmakonga mwapanga bwino, let that be done. But that problem needs a clear-cut study, not just a person coming to say, "Not zakumba me follow boza nishimutanama." Coming to the issues of junkies, Ken. The issue of junkies is this. First things first, like I said, in issue of junkies, we need to look at it holistically, right? Starting point is this. First of all, we need to look at are these people who are selling alcohol, who are selling drugs, are they licensed? That's the starting point. You can't be sorting out an issue of junkies when people can easily access alcohol. You get the point? There are rules and there are laws in this country that regulate time bars are supposed to open, time bars are supposed to close. Who can buy alcohol and who cannot be able to buy alcohol. There is no way you can allow muntu munampasa license akazigulisa moba agulisa kuli mwana who is underage. The law is supposed to do something about it. So first of all, we need to bring these people on the table as well, who are traders, who are selling alcohols. We tell them to say, look, these are our youths. This is the future of this particular country. And if you are not abiding by the law in your trade, you are not only killing, our youths, but you are creating a bigger problem. Because you people are making alcohol easily accessible. You are not abiding by the regulations of the country. So the first thing is, these traders are doing their business in accordance with the law? If they are not doing business in accordance with the law, let's educate them. If they cannot change, there are sanctions that should be able to come. License be revoked. From nowhere, that's not the way to go about it. The way to go about it, educate the people. Some of these laws, kuzatapa muntu waku Burundi chabe, abwera Mzambia, akula kachanji, ka shop, pamene amba na kugulisa moba, alina license, saziba. So we have to engage the local authorities. The problem that we have, I'll tell you, with our leadership, Ken, is this. People in Zambia, when it comes to leadership, they are reactive. They are not proactive. We only try to solve a problem when it has already happened. That is damage control. To solve a problem, we need to sit down. The way we are, let's start moving. Kulima bus, wamene bagulisa mowa. Ndana na license, nana wanalibe. Wamena na license, tie kanso katenge license. Lipila mafizi, maruzi ni haya, wakulisa nuyu, osa gulisa. That's one area. The second area, we need now to engage our youths, we bring them on board. Okay? Yes, you can say that because could be phone cheater. But also on the other side, there are still youths who are unemployed and they are sober. So again, we need to bring youths on board and tell them the truth. Your life is in your hands. At the end of it, there are certain things the government will never do for you. In fact, as a matter, as a serious point, the most important things about our lives are not done by the government. The government doesn't eat for you. The government doesn't, breathe on your behalf. You breathe on your own. The government doesn't take you to bath. You bath on your own. So the most important things about our lives, this is a vacant. So we have to bring our youth on board. First of all, decision yokumwamoba or yosakumwamoba. Kulibenango bamene bali benchito, balipe bamene bachita, but they are sober. There are others who have chosen to still live right. So it now goes back to an individual. So what do? We bring them together. We start talking to the young people. After we start talking to the young people, what we do now, that's when now we provide them with the recreation facilities. Nankanyama skill center. Because muntu ngatsali responsible as an individual or a skill center. It has to take a person making a decision, saying in Chinza, I want to make it in life. Such a person is very easy to help. Because remember, you get a point. So in one way or the other, they can ask for a coin from there. Someone can give them money. They've got some access to money. But why not use that money to something beneficial? So again, we come back. It's a mindset problem. So we bring the youths on board. We create recreation facilities, skill center. We keep them busy. But what we should do mostly is to work on their minds. Once we work on their minds, because that's where change comes from. And lastly, we need my rehabilitation center. For me, that's one of the things that I would love to do. Of course, my brother is running a rehabilitation center. But the question is, kwenda ku Great North Rehab. So ambili, kusapesa mayouth wambili wankala junkie mchawama. You see, so we need also to help them back. So at one point in time, one of the things I would love to do is to ensure that we create a rehabilitation center so that wajawamene wanankala addicted, we start working on them without them having to pay a leg and an arm for them to come back to normal. So the issue of junkies is a collective problem. Let's bring the police on board. We bring the council on board. We bring the church on board. We bring the parents and the members of the community on board. Then we bring the leadership. Because this is a national problem. It's not just a family problem. That's my take on that.
Thank you so much. If you are still watching or you are following this conversation and you would love to ask a question to our guest, Mr. Elijah SIATWAMBO, independent aspiring member of parliament for Chawama constituency, the line is what you are seeing on your screens right now. You will be through and we'll be able to give you at least a minute to answer, to ask your question. Miriam Busi Chirwa says, even the inner roads of Kwamboka hold a lot of water during rain season. Like now, due to poor drainage system and collected garbage has contributed to that. Patrick Bapton Kamanga says, Honorable, you are very right on garbage. Thank you so much. Fabiano Piri says, this is our own. Chawama needs a man like him, not those who are busy making comedy. Elijah is humble, peaceful, with good character. I personally know him in Chawama. Thank you so much, Fabiano. We're grateful. Mwinji Kawiro says, these are people who should be representing us in parliament. Jason Lungu says, this one is a reliable leader. He can represent Chawama well as an MP. Thank you so much. Bob Mutale says, Honorable ni lecturer. Now, Minister Baziba, vote Elijah SIATWAMBO, MP for Chawama. Thank you so much. Tasi Motesi, watching you live, Honorable. We are voting for you. Thank you so much. Benchi Lualo says, the best way government can do for Kanyama, Chivolia, and Mrs. they have to find place for those people to stay from, and since town small, those can be places for buildings. Okay, they are basically suggesting a relocation for the people. But let's get to hear what this one has. Good evening. Hello, good evening. All right, thank you. And how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from the line.
Your name?
My name is Victor.
Mr. Victor, we have Mr. SIATWAMBO Elijah.
Yes.
Your contribution or question?
Yes, I'm okay for you. So, in regards to the junkies, how are we going to tackle the issue of these drugs like Chamba and all that stuff that these junkies are on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are the steps to make sure that those? I believe those are the drugs that are really destroying our youth.
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. I'm sure Mr. SIATWAMBO has taken note. You can tune back to this live stream and he'll be able to give feedback.
Thank you.
Right. So the concerns of Victor, Mr. SIATWAMBO, about drugs. We have heard that kusaidi kuja kulivyamba maningi, maneighbors kuja supplier. And for him, this is a concern. How are we going to deal with this issue? Because we can be talking about junkies, but if we do not deal with the source where these junkies are getting these drugs or they are getting the alcohol from, then we are fighting in vain. I was reading some comments before. If we have another caller, you can please call. I want the Honorable to get maybe the last 3 questions before we can also attend to the remaining questions. Your campaign strategy is at a higher level, which unfortunately a common voter in Chawama constituency may not understand and appreciate, especially those who are used to handouts. What is needed is mindset change. I wish you well. This is Kangwa. He's actually texting from Kasama. Dominic Savio is saying he's a good man who can lead Chawama well. Thank you so much. Lasford Kalonde is saying, kindly ask him about the civic duties of council chairperson, mayor, member of parliament, and councillor. This will help us to understand that he understands his role. And I understand why this question is coming in, Mr. SIATWAMBO. We've seen people fight. MP achita nchito ya councillor, councillor achita nchito ya council chairperson. So someone wants you to explain if you understand the duties very well. But let's get our last caller. Good evening.
Evening, how are you?
All right, thank you. And how are you, sir?
You're speaking to Piri Joseph.
Piri Joseph from where?
From Luansha.
Luansha. Thank you so much, sir. We have Mr. SIATWAMBO.
Okay, Mr. SIATWAMBO. So my question is, since you mean well for the people of Chawama, so what measures have you put in place right now for you to help the people of Chawama, or maybe you just need power first for you to help the people of Chawama? Thank you.
Thank you so much. The question from Mr. Piri is what, in short, he's trying to ask what you have done so far or what measures you have put in place to help the people of Chawama. So before they give you power, what have you done for them? You can handle those questions.
All right. What have I done for the people of Chawama? I'll go straight. Firstly, I have an organization I run called Disability Rights Legal Center. This Disability Rights Legal Center is an organization that I have been giving free legal services to persons with disabilities. And also, this is not only adults, I've also been doing child protection around actually children with disabilities. And this actually work, I have done it as far back as 2016, not only in Chawama. For children, I have worked around Kanyama, Matelo, Pauleni, most of the compounds. If you ask most of the mothers who have got children with disabilities, ask them about Mr. SIATWAMBO, they'll tell you they know me because I've visited those homes, talked to parents, caregivers on how to, treat children with disabilities, talk about the rights of children with disabilities. So that's one of the projects that I've done. I have also got a foundation which is called Elijah SIATWAMBO Foundation for Community Development. So this was because of I think people who were coming to the Disability Rights Legal Center who had no disabilities, who needed help here and there. So we had also then to incorporate, to register another organization which is called the Elijah SIATWAMBO Community for Community Development Foundation. So under this foundation, what we did is that actually I established a skill center in Chawama. I have a skill center in Chawama that is just by Weluzantanov, which we've been trying to help a lot of youths actually through different skills and also helping the youths also in aspect of entrepreneurship. I have, through the skill center also, we were also creating groups for the women, which are smaller cooperatives where we would bring women on board, teach them on business. After we teach them on business, as and when the funds are available, help them with an empowerment fund. And I can tell you we have empowered over 20 women in 20 groups of women, because each group is about 20 women, and we've done over 20 groups of that nature where we've empowered, I think, the women. And some of them actually are doing great in terms of business and so on and so forth. In addition also to that, I have been doing a lot of work also around sports. I have done, I think, should be about 5 soccer tournaments in Chawama, men and women as well. So we did, I think, in Mississippi, I did Kuku, I did Chawama itself, I did Jonawad, and I've been also in the area of sports. And also I have been supporting a lot of football clubs that are in Chawama, because you've got Chawama United, you have got Kuku Dynamos, you have got also Mrs. Youth Soccer Academy. These are purely community teams. These are community teams who have got no money for them to go and play football. They have to, ask for members of the community to make donations, and I've been able to support them as and when the resources are available. So like I've said, the work around Chawama, I've done quite a lot of work. And we were just actually under the foundation, we were about actually to launch a an agriculture empowerment program for women, where we were taking those groups that we had formed into agriculture. Because remember, real empowerment is making people work for themselves. You just provide them with the resources, or you create an opportunity for them. So as we were about to launch, I think, that project, that's when, of course, we head of the by-elections. But other than that, we've done a lot of work, and we are still doing a lot of work at our skill center that we opened in Chawama. So in a nutshell, that's part of the work that I have done and I've been doing in Chawama. So I'm not just a person who has just come on the scene just now, but I've been a community worker actually for a very long time, as far back actually as 2016. I have been doing community work same hand in hand with legal work at the same time. Of course, there's another question that had been brought around the issues of drugs, access to drugs, which I had tackled briefly when I was tackling on the issues of junkies. Again, we've got Drug Enforcement Commission, we've got the police service, we've also got the local authorities. So like I said, we need to bring in these stakeholders on board. The problem that we've always had, and I repeat again, is that the way we tackle problems in our country, we are reactive than being proactive. We can't, the moment we are trying to rehabilitate a child who has already been addicted to drugs, the cost actually becomes too much. You know, in health, they always say prevention is better than cure, meaning we start ensuring to say, where are these kids? We do investigations. Where are these kids accessing these drugs? Who is the supplier? Where are these drugs coming from? So DEC and other stakeholders have to be on the ground, talk to the kids, do thorough investigation, so that we prevent having a society where we have got more junkies, you know, than youths who are very productive. That is a waste of energy. So, of course, there's another question that was talking about the roles of a councillor, the roles of an MP, the roles of these particular civic leaders, because at the end of it all, there's more likely people do not get to understand what their roles are. So the role of a member of parliament, I had already highlighted. A member of parliament represents the people of a particular constituency in parliament. And once in parliament, a member of parliament also attends to the business of the house, sit in the meetings, ask the relevant ministries questions, and then also participate in the process of making laws. And then also you've got a particular councillor. A councillor represents a particular ward. So a councillor or the councillors of the particular ward, they understand the problems of each particular ward. And then these councillors also, they get to sit in what is called as the CDF committee. They also sit part of the CDF committee. So you find that that is where now they get also to discuss issues of how CDF should be spent, which projects should be worked on in a particular ward. So this is basically what the role of a councillor in a nutshell is about. Then you've got a council chairperson. In some areas, the council chairperson is basically what's this called, a mayor. So other than that, they also participate in these particular council meetings. When the councillors get to meet in that particular constituency, they do they operate or oversee, I think, the operations together with the town clerk of a particular town council or local authorities. So you find that these roles are very clear, they are distinct, they are not one and the same. But what makes, I think, these offices try to overlap, which comes back to the same issues again. Our people on the ground who we are leading, they do not know the role of this particular person is. So you find that they'll go to an MP when they're supposed to go to a councillor. You know, they'll even ask an MP to do certain things that are outside, you know, the scope of the member of parliament. So the biggest challenge is that the people on the ground do not appreciate these offices. And again, it goes back to the same issue I had raised, an issue of, partly it's an issue of just maybe ignorance or illiteracy. So had our people known, they would have known that some of these problems, who we need to go to or who can attend this issue is a councillor, who can attend this issue is a member of parliament, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much for those comments and answers to the questions that were earlier asked. We are almost coming to the end of our interview. Time flies so fast, but before we wrap it up, there are a few questions that we need to have addressed. I've received some questions or concerns from some members of Chawama constituency who have complained about police intimidation and unlawful detention. Especially with regards to police patrols, also known as shishita. Some people have been arrested And some have actually told me, ine wananipoka na ndalama yenenze nayo, kuseni wanichosa wanuza taenda, I demand for my money up to now, so nanipase. And at least if it was just one person that had complained, I would have said maybe that was just the one situation. But I think we've had more than 3 people or 4 people complaining about these arrests or detentions. Are these things that you are aware about, Honorable?
Actually, about yesterday, somebody gave me a call that they had been detained in Kanyashishita for what, over 24 hours. So I had to say, okay, put the police officer on call. Let me talk to the police officer. And I engaged the police officer. There were no grounds or there was no basis to have actually those people you find that arrested for that period of time. So now, issue Yashishita, family so. Yes, the police have got a mandate to ensure that we live in a peaceful environment, okay, to maintain law and order and security. That is their mandate. But in maintaining law and order and security, especially ko area ya Shishita, wakapokola chamene bafunu kochita, when they find a person in the night moving, it's not an offense. But remember, you have got the right to move. You have got the right to move as an individual. That is your constitutional right. So when wakapokola wakapeza muntu usiku, the first thing is, who are you? Where are you? Where are you going? They need to check. So if this particular person ainda pamene basivika, what they are supposed to do is escort the person. Kutuba making sure muntu ashtapanje afika. Than so much get to detain a person. Remember, it's not the police force. It's a police service. So the role of the police is to provide a service to the Zambian people and to ensure that our people are safe. Ngati muntu akomboka kunchito ni usiku alibeza transport. What should the person do? Swanga mute sunga mute. Ngeni kufunza. That's why we have to kufunza. Now, why the police are taking advantage of that? Again, it comes back to the issue of what? Ignorance. Bantu bambiri mu community mwatu makomboni bakaona chabe bakapukula bayoba. You know, why bakapukula bakakubwira nkani ya shishita, bakubwira nkani ya shishita. Why bakapukula bakupoke ndalama. Wamena kupoka yo kapukula ndalama. That is a criminal, that's a thief. Your money is your personal property. Muntu, just because bakapukula ni time ya shishita bakupeza, before they even detain you, they should actually ensure that firstly, you are not in any way tunapangepo mlandu uliwosi. Then that's why I come back to the point that they need to interrogate when that could what let's make some phone calls we muntu kumziba okay tempelekeze ngati we muntu unkala chabe. If they decide to keep you per police station, maybe it's because could be kwa mene kungaende for your own safety, not because you are kulonga. So all these things are happening because our people bantu ambili maningi bali ignorant. So pamene nikamba kuri bantu wa Chawama, whenever those things like that happen, we have to deal with such police officers. We can report them. There's the Police Complaint Commission. You know where such police officers are supposed to be reported, because that is stealing from people. Just because
one of the roles of an MP as they go to parliament is policy formulation or legislation. And we have seen that our constitution currently has been undergoing some touch-ups here and there. And we have seen a number of bills that have been put on the floor of the House. As an area member of parliament that is going to parliament, and obviously one of your roles will be to push in certain laws for the people that you feel need to be worked on. When you look at our constitution and the people of Chawama, what are some of the policies that you feel you have the responsibility to present on the floor of the House in order to help the people of Chawama?
Okay, one of the key policies is around, of course, in Kanyama business, right? We have got ma foreigners, bambiri bangena, bangena makomboni, bashta ma business. Okay, first things first, our ma foreigners pamina bangena bashta makomboni ma business. We need to also to check ushebana proper documentation, very important. And then kulina ma business yenango. If you go to different countries, Ken, kulima business yenango, they are reserved purely for the local people. They are reserved purely for the local people. Kuti aya ma business wamene wanga chite chabe ni bantu bamu country. Aba wamene babwera benango ngati ma investors ma business yenango yamene banga chite. You see that? So those are some of the things that we need to ensure so that itashitako promote my local business. Because you find that level ya competition iwe muntu upanga wamba kupanga kwa company ko chama block. Then muntu wakuteki na ya bwera mkomboni ambopanga ma block. You find that iwe equipment na machinery ulibe. You know, maybe you cannot be able to make at that level, at that capacity. So we have to also ensure that around business, we have to find a way where we can preserve certain activities for our local people. Nkani ama nkuku hii, nkani ama business yena ngole kanti basile ba local people. Aba bamene babwera ngati ni investor sanga bwere kuno kwamba ogirisa matropico. Ni investor wa branch. Investor kuli ma major sectors of economy where we need actually a lot of investments, commercial farming, mining, yes. We need a lot of investments in those areas. But to my business to one, let's find a way. We leave our local people. We ensure abantu batu bashiteko shanji, my business yena ngo yashiteko. So there are certain laws that are already there. One of the things I think I also intend to try to push aggressively, problem ni nkani ya implementation. Malamulo yena ngo yaliko kudala, but yali na madust, yali chabe na madust. They are just laws on you know on the shelves. They are not in action. So at the end of it all, ninkansabe implementation so that welfare yabantu batu mchawama yainda pasogolo, because what we always have to push for is the development of the Zambian people. We ensure kuti bantu batu ma business yainda pasogolo. They are living in a better environment. Those are laws that I will ensure that we push for the betterment of the people of Chawama.
We've been talking for 1 hour, 15 minutes. And I'm sure the people of Chawama and those that are watching us from elsewhere have heard your message. Is there anything else that we have not talked about that you would love to communicate to the people of Chawama?
Yes, this is my message. Cleveland to Chawama, my elections, Yabuela, 15 January, next week, Thursday. Ine Nimirila as an independent member of parliament. Now, the reason Yameneni Midila as an independent member of parliament, because I am a man of the people and for the people. I had every opportunity to stand on any ticket if I wanted. But for the sake of the people, I chose to remain as neutral as I am. Because Bantubak Chawama, they need a strong voice. Bantubak Chawama, they need a leader. Parliament is a place where we don't take jokers. Parliament is a place where we take serious people. I am a lawyer by profession. I deal with the law every single day. I've gone into court, I've argued a bad law. I have gone into court and argued over a good law. And I understand exactly what a good law does to a community. And that is why Kuli Imwewantuwaku Chawama, I am asking for your vote. 15 January comes. The person that you are supposed to vote for is Elijah SIATWAMBO. Why? Quality. I bring quality to the table. I bring a clear plan. I think Pamene Mwamvera interview, Panalibe comedy. Pamene Mwamvera interview, even if you have followed my campaign, it's been serious business. This is not a time that we can bring people who are jokers, who have got no idea of what a member of parliament is. This is a time you bring in a person who is a strong voice. This is a time you bring in a person who knows what leadership is. I am not here to politic over the problems of the people. I am here to provide solutions to the challenges that the people of Chawama are going through. I am a person who is highly connected, and in certain areas, I'll be able to ensure that we bring different connections to sort some of the problems. Because kulima problems yenangu yam constituency, yamene yaza funika a leader who thinks outside the box, who can be able to bring people on the table, bring different stakeholders on the table to solve some of the challenges that the people are going through. So I am that particular person. So when 15 January comes, mwendo sakila chabe mfeshianga chambe, mukasakila feshianga muzapeza Elijah SIATWAMBO independent. Ngati mwaiba ala chabe mfeshi. Mukumbuke, my symbol is very simple. It's a table. Mukachekinga chabe. Pali ma candidates bonse bamene bayimirira. Muzani peza chabe. Pamene muzaka peza ka table chabe. Diye votera. Muntu wina angafunse to say why the table, and I'll tell you why the table. Firstly, scripturally, even when you go to the Bible, Psalms 23 verse 5 will tell you, he sets a table for me in the presence of my enemy. A table is a place of serious issues. A table is a place of Serious business, serious transaction. Whenever we are eating, we put food on the table. Go to any market, tables, iPesa. That's where people are doing transactions. Go into any office, tables, iPesa. Ma computer, ma paper, ma deal, basaini pa table. What am I saying? Bring your issues to the table, Chawama. Patebo, letani my issues yanu, tizaya sotinga. Nkani ni patebo. I am a man who is up for empowerment. Empowerment, ma cooperatives wazimai, not ma cooperatives kuti pangani, ndalama simu ziona. I am a man of action. Kulima Youthsi, we have already started doing skills development. That empower my skills wambiri maningi, my youth wambiri in the area of skills. The moment you give me that office, Wantuwaku Chawama, I can tell you for a fact, the entire country will be proud of the choice that you've made and the progress we are going to do together. 15th of January, vote Elijah SIATWAMBO. Thank you.
And Rosta Nyirongo says, Nkani ni patebo. And on that note, we wrap up this special interview. I would love to say thank you so much, Mr. Elijah SIATWAMBO, independent aspiring member of parliament for Chawama constituency, for accepting or for coming through to this particular show. It's interesting to mention that you are the first aspiring candidate for Chawama that I've hosted on this show. And I'm grateful that you've come through to explain your vision for the people of Chawama. And to the people of Chawama, you have heard the plans that Mr. SIATWAMBO has for you. The decision is entirely yours. You have seen others, but you have heard from him. If you can, please do support him. Until next time, tomorrow, by the way, we are also having another interview with an aspiring member, council chairperson, aspiring council chairperson for Chiranga district, Mr. Bumba Bulongo. So if you can, please join me same time right on this same platform. Thank you so much and wishing you all the best, Mr. SIATWAMBO.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you.
Thank you.